Good morning and welcome to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host here in Fort Scott, Kansas on the KW Cattle Ranch. The ranch has evolved into a 3,000 plus acre cattle and horse breeding operation where they even sell their beef on the retail market. Stay with us and we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Good morning and welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, and I'm here with Nathan Wells in Fort Scott, Kansas at the KW Cattle Company. So first off, Nathan, horses and cattle have been a part of the Kraft family since the 50s. Tell me a little bit about that.
When Harold was growing up, they always had cattle and horses involved. They grew up on a farm, and they ended up moving to town, and it was a big passion of his to always get back into. So that's kind of how KW evolved later on in his life.
Great. So tell me a little bit how you became a part of the KW Cattle Company.
I moved to Fort Scott when I was in 6th grade, and I ended up coming up to help them with some horses, and one thing just kind of led to another. From there, whenever they first decided they kind of wanted to diversify some of their operation, we kind of started in the stocker business, and we did that for several years. And as time went along, we decided we wanted to do something that was more of a, I don't want to say challenge, maybe something that was more of a steady thing, something more we could build a name around and build something for my children's future and also their family. And so they started KW Cattle then in about 2009.
Awesome. So since you've been here, how have you seen, you kind of touched on that a minute ago, but how have you seen the operation evolve?
Well, we used to run several thousand stockers a year. And so it was just a different feel, constant turnover, constant different animals and challenges, to where now we are working on raising maybe more of the perfect animal, more of a bulls for people to help to improve their herd with.
Awesome. So behind us here we have some of the stock. Tell me a little bit about the cattle in general here. What kind of breeding specifics and things like that?
We raise registered Black Angus bulls. Several different bloodlines. Everybody wants to know what trait we're trying to focus on, and in our minds we're trying to create more of a perfect animal that is complete. We want them to have carcass merit, we want them to have good calving ease, we want them to have a lot of performance in them, and basically to help put more money on their bottom line.
So besides the genetics and breeding here at KW Cattle Company, tell me a little bit about the meat production here.
Platinum Beef was started several years ago. Originally, we just had animals for ourselves, and we've always wanted to provide healthy things for our family. And so we decided to start Platinum Beef. It's no hormones, no antibiotics. We wanted to grow it here at the ranch. We never wanted to send it out for somebody else to do, so we could ensure the quality. And it kind of started with one person coming over for dinner and they liking it, and they bought some, so on and so forth. And so it's grown into something we're very proud to do. We do probably 30 to 60 animals a year that we send. People can buy it online, or we have just friends and family that buy it just for themselves because they like it. And the best thing about it is that our kids eat it. We noticed a difference whenever you would buy store-bought hamburger and hamburger from the ranch and seeing the kids actually eat their hamburger instead of just eating the chips.
Right.
So it's been a very good thing for us.
Great, thank you, Nathan. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Summer is busy at Tarwater Farm and Home. We have just about everything you'll need for your summer projects, and we're consistently competitively priced. Tarwaters can help make your grass and garden grow, and we have a huge variety of equipment to cut it. If you have a farm, Tarwaters has the products and equipment to keep it going strong. And our expanded parking lot will make it even more convenient to shop. So come see us at Tarwater Farm and Home in Topeka.
I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Travis. We both grew up working on family ranches. me in Northern California and Travis in Kansas. We met in college, got married, and took corporate jobs in the beef industry. But soon we realized we missed the production side of the industry.
So we made the daring move to start our own cattle business in Southeast Kansas while also starting our family.
Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source, together we grow.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, and I'm back here with Nathan in Fort Scott, Kansas. So today's kind of a preparation day for your sale coming up in March, and it's your second annual sale. Tell me a little bit about that.
The preparation we're doing today we're fitting the bulls, trimming them, getting them ready for video. The online auction has kind of become a big part. I think last year it was 25% of our sales, and so we want that bull to look and show who he truly is. So today we're going to get them clipped, and then next week we'll video them.
Great. So what made you guys want to start with an auction?
The biggest thing with an auction is because if I sell in private treaty, I've got to set the price. Whenever you hold an auction, it's more of a cost for us, but the market and the people there are going to dictate that value. So that way they can't say I'm too high on it. That's what the market was, and hopefully we're both in agreement that bull brought what he was truly worth.
Great. So how do you develop the bulls that you sell in your auction?
We develop all the bulls here at home. That's a big question we get a lot. We don't send them ever to a feedlot. We always keep them here. Our bulls are developed in big traps. I think the smallest trap our bulls are developed in is about 20 acres. The 18-month-olds, they're developed in about a 50-acre trap. They are developed on fescue.
Okay.
And so we think by keeping them in them bigger traps, that's going to help that bull grow up better and ensure some joint soundness at a young age so that he'll be around for a long time for that customer.
Sure. What are some specifics that you do to get your bulls sale ready?
Besides doing the clipping, we'll also, we ultrasound the bulls. We did that a few days ago, and that'll help the public kind of see. It's another tool for them to see what kind of carcass merit they're going to have. We'll also do the Zoetis 50K, which is a genetic test, and it helps to improve. It's just a piece of the EPDs and to help them ensure that what that says it is going to be. So it helps to give our clients a bigger and better picture of what they're getting.
How many people are you expecting, and how many head of cattle will you run through your sale this year?
This year we're going to sell 150 bulls. That's our plan, and we're probably going to have between 100 and 150 people. Last year we had about 75 people show up, and we've had great feedback from the catalogs, people requesting catalogs. We've sent out some flyers and had a lot of feedback on them, and so roughly we expect around 150 people this year, and that's what we're kind of trying to prepare for.
Great. So I know you mentioned that the Kraft family has a print business. Do they are they involved in the auction at all?
They are involved in the auction. The printing business will print a lot of the flyers. It'll also print a lot of the banners that we use, and that's been a growing thing. The magnets that we sent out to everybody as kind of a reminder and save the date. We printed those at Wardcraft as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
SureCrop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business is started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planning systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com. And you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com. And with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities, big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, and I'm back here with Nathan Wells in their ET barn. To start off, how are you using technology to grow KW cattle?
Probably the biggest way we've taken advantage of it is using IVF, which stands for in vitro fertilization. That's a process that they'll actually go in and extract the egg, and then they'll put it in a petri dish, and they grow them out and fertilize them. And over here is some of our eggs that we've actually frozen. That's kind of what they are. You can see they're labeled. You can kind of see the canes inside there. It's been a way for us to use cattle that perhaps aren't 60 days postpartum yet, so we're able to flush them faster. You don't have to give that cow any drugs, and it's also a lot less manpower to whenever you do that. So that's one of the biggest ways we're using it, and we're also still using some conventional ways, but we're really excited about what this new technology is showing us.
Perfect. How do you decide what flushing method to use and on which cows?
Most of it just depends upon what Casey, which is one of our embryologists, and Todd, kind of what they tell us, but also off the cow's age. A lot of times if you'll use conventional flushing on a young cow, you can burn them up or cause some damage sometimes to their ovaries. That's one of the beautiful things about IVF is that you don't have to give no drugs. And so it's more of a natural thing. You can take those eggs out, and you can even breed that cow and use IVF technology on her up to 110 days, I think, or 120 days bred. And so you never get a stale cow. And it also helps to keep a cow from getting super fat from just constantly being a donor cow.
Perfect. So you mentioned you do some of this work here on your farm. Tell me a little bit about that.
We try to spread it out. We've sent cows to Texas, to Todd Stroud. We've also got cows in Abilene with Casey Barton, and then we keep a lot of them here. One of the biggest reasons we do that is just to spread our risk out. The other reason is we try to keep, especially our young cows right here at home, where we can watch over them close. Riley has learned how to go in and scan the cattle, which helps us do a better job on doing the IVF and the embryo technology of finding what process those cows are at in their cycle and how we can set them up and utilize getting the most eggs possible.
Perfect. And how do you utilize your lab that you've built here?
The lab that we have there, that's where they'll actually go and they'll do the sorting. So after we flush out of the chute here with Casey, we'll then take that vial into the lab. And whoever the lab tech is that day will go through and they'll sort through, find the embryos, and they'll either put them in the incubator and we'll send them to Todd if they're on the IVF side, or if it's a conventional embryo way, then he'll actually freeze them in there. And so that's kind of where all the magic happens.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
My name is Bill Meredith, and I farm about 7,000 acres. We raise about 150 head of longhorn cattle. It was real frustrating for me to not be able to have my hands on it. When I'd come down in the morning, almost cry because my back was hurting so bad and my memory was so bad, and had been to Mayo's clinic feeling like it was nothing was happening as fast as I'd like to see it happen. My land guy come and pulled up beside me and he asked me how I was doing. I told him I wasn't doing worth a darn. He was telling me about this treatment they were doing down there in Manhattan. Anyway, we come up here and got this treatment, put some in my shoulders because I couldn't bend my head like this. I finally started getting my memory back, and I'm able to do about everything I was doing before, maybe more. I went outside and raised my hand and praised the Lord, you know.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host here at the KW Cattle Ranch. And we've been talking a lot about cattle, and we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about some horses. And I'm here with Riley Schofield, a hired hand here at the ranch. So tell me a little bit about what you do here, Riley.
I've worked here for about the last 5 years, kind of doing a little bit of everything. Recently, I just started doing a lot of the ultrasounding and scanning on the donors that we use, and do a little bit of AI too, along with Jeff and Nathan. But mainly I start a lot of the horses, ride a lot of horses, which is really awesome. I enjoy it.
Great. Tell me a little bit about the horse operation here. How many head do you guys have, and how does that work?
We've got probably more horses than we should, but we've got about 20 head, which isn't terrible, but we use them a lot. We've got 2 brood mares right now, and then we'll kind of buy some colts here and there, but we like to raise them. The ultimate goal is kid broke horses that Nathan's girls and Jeff's kids can eventually ride and you know, do everything on, and they're broke enough for it, but yet we can go either take them to a show or gather on and then stick a kid on them and they're fine.
So tell me a little bit about, you start most of the horses here, but maybe what are some up and coming horses that you have that you're sending off?
Yeah, we've got a pretty cool little filly out of a Patty's Irish Whiskey mare, and she's out of WR This Cat Smart. So we're not too great at the cutting here, so we're going to probably send her off to a cutting trainer and see how she gets along.
So horses have been a part of the KW Cattle Ranch as long as cattle have been a part. How do the two go together?
Well, we like to gather everything with horses and use horses. We obviously rope a lot of stuff with it, just doctoring, and I think a lot of it comes from when we had the stalkers. We used to ride all the time, and so we like to continue that into the registered operation, and so we sure enjoy the horse side of it, so we like to keep them together. So.
What kind of horses do you have here on the ranch, and beyond ranch work, what are some things that you like to do with them?
We like to do, well, we raise quarter horses, American quarter horses. That's mainly what we have. We've got a few paints in there, but don't tell Nathan that. We actually do a lot of, here lately, we're starting to get into like working cow horse type stuff. Nathan and Jeff both were on a ranch rodeo team, did really well. They made it to the finals a couple years, and with the kids, they don't do it as much, but we use them for kind of all aspects of ranch work, and then we like them to be able to perform that ability in the arena as well. So,
So I see you have a roping chute and a roping dummy over there. Do you guys do some team roping as well?
We do, yep. We like to start some of those horses on it. We've got a handful of roping steers that we like to run through occasionally, and it's good for the horses to be able to get a little more practice in than just when you have to rope them in the pasture.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Riley. We've been talking with Riley Schofield about the horse operation here at the KW Cattle Company, and stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Welcome to our Bar B, 8,000 plus square feet Western store with something for everyone in the family. We have boots, belts, hats, jeans, anything you could want to outfit you and your horse. Come visit our line of saddles. We have 400 plus new and used saddles in stock. We offer tack, grooming supplies, headstalls, breast collars, you name it, we've got it for you and your horse. That's our Bar B, 1 mile east of Highway 4 on Northeast 39th. Our Bar B, where Western is a way of life.
Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
That's My Farm is brought to you in part by Tallgrass Commodities. Big enough to serve, small enough to care.
Welcome back to That's My Farm. I'm Michaela DeMott, your guest host, and I'm here with Nathan Wells, the KW Cattle Company near Fort Scott, Kansas. So first off, Nathan, when you first started here, how have you seen this property change over time?
You know, when we started here, all of this right here, nothing was here. It was just a plain piece of dirt. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of building it, helping design it, how we thought it would work and flow in multiple different aspects of the cattle industry, and also for the horses that we're proud of. So we've seen a lot of changes, and I think we'll continue to see a lot of changes and growth in the future.
When was like the main turning point? I think you mentioned in 2009, kind of all this stuff was built.
In 2009, we had just outgrown where we were at, and we decided to move up here, which was just a quarter mile up the road. It allowed us a lot more area, and so that was when we moved up here and developed all this, all the pens and everything. And it was probably it was a big jump for us, but it also helped us have the opportunity to grow. We were so limited before.
So just in those few short years from 2009 until now, a lot has changed. Where do you see KW Cattle in the future?
I think KW Cattle is going to become, hopefully be a leader in the industry in terms of helping to place bulls, develop bulls, and also to help bulls to continue to help put more money on the customer's bottom line.
Sure. Where do you see yourself and your family? You mentioned you have kids and a wife. Where do you see yourself and them in the future here?
I think we'll always be involved in it. You know, it's important to me and my wife both that our kids both go to college. And if they choose to come back and be a part of a ranch, we would welcome that. But we want that to be their decision. I don't ever want to be one of them dads that forced it on them, because I want them to have the same passion that we all have for it, and to love it for the right reasons, because it is a challenging life.
Maybe in the future, would they be interested in coming back and growing the retail side of KW Cattle?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope that that's one of me and my wife both have a goal to try and make KW very diverse in a lot of different segments, from the horses to the bulls to the heifer development, to even continuing to prove the bulls in the feed yard, and the platinum beef side of it. I hope that is something that they want to come back and be a part of, and I hope they each take their own division and continue to make it prosper.
Elaborate a little bit more on the production side of things here, your beef that you sell. Where do you see that in the future?
It has been something that we've been surprised how fast it's grown, the interest that we've had, and the questions that we have. You know, a lot of people even want to come to the ranch and actually pick out their own beef. There's so much market and propaganda out there today of people who are selling false things. And we love the opportunity of having people come here and say, I want that one, and that's theirs. And seeing that we do grow it and take care of it in the way we say we do.
We've been visiting with Nathan Wells here at the KW Cattle Ranch. Thank you, Nathan, for visiting with me. And stay tuned next week for the next episode of That's My Farm.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.